Well, hey everyone, it's the Eurobandit here once again, and today I'm gonna do a review of Optonica 1616 stereo set. And here's the set, as you can no doubt see. And why I call it the 1616 set. The tuner model is ST-1616. The cassette deck is RT-1616 and the amplifier is the model SM-1616. So I don't know why I call it the 1616 set. Might give you an idea that it's actually more high-end. Well, the components aren't also long in the back side, so more like the front side that looks more aggressive. So before we start this review, let's turn the things on because they look a lot better when they're on. I really like these flip switches. There you go. I'm the second owner of this set. I purchased it from the original owner a few years ago. This set has been manufactured between 1978 to 1979. And by the time you're watching this video, this whole set is sold. I no longer own it. Let's start from the amp. As you can see, the Sharp logo is in there. Since they want to show those who don't know that Optonica is their luxury brand. It's quite a basic amplifier. And you know, being Optonica, they made it look more fancy than what it actually is by adding a ton of screws on the sides, which I'm gonna show you later on in this video. Other than that, the layout is beautiful. I like these VO meters, they're great. It's got the bass and treble adjustments, power, phones jack, speaker selector, A, B, off or A plus B. Balance control, filters, loudness on or off, volume control, a muting button underneath it, which on this amplifier is completely useless because it's not that powerful that it gets so loud if you raise the volume up a slightly bit. It really doesn't make a whole lot of difference, so this button is pretty useless on this particular amplifier since it's not all that powerful. Mode, stereo or mono. This is the selector, aux, phono, tuner. You got the tape monitor, tape 1 or tape 2, as well as a dubbing feature, 1 to 2 or 2 to 1. And here's the instruction manual for the amplifier. It's actually called the SM-1616H, although I don't know why they didn't place the H on the units themselves. This set was available with either black finish or silver, as you can see on the instruction manual. The power output is 32 watts per channel into 8 ohms, as I said, not all so much, but quite decent. Of course, those are real watts, not bullshit watts, unlike today's garbage electronics. Frequency response 15 Hz to 60 kHz, and the weight is 7.8 kilograms. Now the sound quality on the other hand has actually surprised me because it's really good for its class. It actually sounds quite nice and the bass is there, so it's basically an amp I could pretty much live with as a secondary setup. Moving up, we have the RT-1616 stereo cassette deck. However, this tape deck is a bit fancy since it's got the Sharp's APSS. The APSS feature is very useful and I really like it. Basically, when you want to fast forward to the other track, it's basically reading the gap between the tracks and you'll just fast forward it or rewind it when it's playing and it's gonna take you to the previous or next track very fast. Right before the track starts, it goes back into play mode. Other than that, it's got the nice keys, which I'm a fan of. I'm not a fan of buttons and all too much electronics. I would have liked it to have a flip-on power switch, but it doesn't. It does, on the other hand, have a open button, which, as you can see, opens the cassette door, or rather the dust shield. Well, let's insert the tape. There you go. And you close it manually by hand. So, your standard tape controls, Conner, the record and Dolby LED. It's got Dolby B, of course. Beautiful VO meters, which I'm a huge fan of. It's also got the peak LED over here. Phones jack, microphone, input left and right, Dolby, on and off, BIOS and equalizer button for chrome, ferrochrome or normal tape. For normal, of course, they both have to be off. For chrome, they both have to be turned on, and for ferrochrome, only this button has to be turned on. Anyway, and it's got the dual pot record level, left and right of course, and it's got a quartz motor. Anyway, let's take a look at the APS-S feature. Let's fast forward it while it's playing, and I'm also gonna open the dust shield just to show how it actually operates, so you can see it better. So let's fast forward while it's playing. APS-S LED just came on. And there you go, we're back to the next track. A very useful feature indeed. And you can just go back to the start of the track by rewinding it. And there you go, the track has started over again. And of course there's no eject button because you take out the tape this way, same way you inserted it. It's a really nice mechanism which I'm a huge fan of. Of course it's also got a backlight which illuminates the tape. And this is the original instruction manual for the cassette deck, as you can no doubt see, RT-1616H. And last but not least we have the ST-1616 stereo tuner, a very basic tuner which looks great and does what it's supposed to. However, one thing I don't like about this tuner is that only the pointer itself is lit up instead of the whole dial. It's something that got quite popular in the late 70s and early 80s for whatever reason. Other than that, you got a flip-on power on and off switch, high blend on and off, air check, this is for the antenna, muting on and off, a decent sized tuning knob, and a selector, FM, medium wave, long wave, FM stereo or FM mono. So this is how the tuner looks like on the inside, as you can no doubt see. The reason why I actually took the cover off was simply to replace the power cable, since the last owner chopped the power cable of both the cassette deck and the tuner and spliced them into one. The pointer's got a light bulb right in there and it actually follows it. And this is how the cassette deck looks like on the inside. It's quite packed and I must say it's very well built. And the mower. Right, so this is how the backside of the amplifier looks like. It's got an output for 2 pairs of speakers. Rated speaker impedance 4 ohms, 8 ohms or 16 ohms. It's also got a fuse over here, voltage selector, and these are all the inputs and outputs. Tape 1, which lets you choose between a DIN or RCA connection. Tape 2, phono, tuner, as well as auxiliary, but for whatever reason it's plugged, and it's obviously made in Japan. One thing I don't like about these particular models, be it the cassette deck, amplifier or tuner, is all these screws. With all these screws they're actually trying to show you that the equipment is even fancier than what it actually is. These upper screws, they're fake. I mean, you can unscrew them of course, but they just put them there for show. The bow mounts are all real of course, they're all holding the covers. However, I don't know why they have to have 4 screws on each side instead of only having 2 on each side. As well as this finish on the covers is also a bit weird. Don't know what kind of paint it is, it feels plasticky, but of course the covers are all metal. The finish is very porous. So yeah, overall it's a neat set that tries to look a bit more fancy than what it actually is. But there you go, that's Optonica for you. But really other than that, the components are very well built and the sound quality is excellent. And with all that being said, now I'm gonna end this video. Hope you liked it. If you did, why not thumbs up. Check out my other videos, and if you like what I'm doing, I'll subscribe, and I'll definitely see you next time. Cheers!